All righty, Rue. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Inside Texas with Mitch and Jeff. How you doing there, Mitch?
I'm good. It's been a full day, man. We started early, and
That's right.
it's been a full day. It's going to be a full week, to be honest with you. So I'm glad I'm young and chipper and spry.
Am I talking to the right Mitch Thames? I'm not even sure.
Oh, I know.
Is this a stand-in that I got going on right now?
Too much too much of the silver hair for that, I guess. No, it was a fun day, but it was a full day.
Yeah, it was good. We got to meet State Representative Cloud today.
Congressman.
I'm sorry, Congressman Cloud.
U.S. Congress.
Yes, Congressman Cloud today. Nice guy. I talked to him. He has a good sense of humor. He told me he loves good comedy, and I said, yeah. I said, well, I was a stand-up for a while, and then he was talking about Pennsylvania again and some other stuff. I said, can I get a picture? Yeah. So I took the picture with him. I'll post it.
What
later.
About his Trump imitation?
Yeah, he said the speaker does a better job at Trump than he does. When he gets up there and starts doing it, it wakes everybody up there in Austin, and he does it. He does it. He said it's funny. Yeah, his Trump thing was really good.
Yeah. I've always liked him. He was our U.S. Congressman 6 years ago, and then during redistricting in 2021, right. We lost him, and we're right on the edge, Jeff. If you ever watch all the maps. We're on the edge for AJ, our state rep. We're on the edge with our state senator. Yep. We're on the edge with our congressman. And so we're subject to get this flip-flopping back and forth, and which I don't really like. Full disclosure, when we were looking at redistricting going from District 22 to District 27, I did reach out to Cody Vasut. He was chairing redistricting in the special session. And I said, man, is there any way, we can stay in Nails, his district? And then it comes to find out Troy's decided not to run for re-election. So.
That's right. Yeah.
I went up to him, and I didn't know if this guy remembers me. I mean, how many people does he meet? It's been a full 3 years, maybe more.
More, yeah.
And so I went up to him. I said, Congressman, my name's Mitch Thames. And he was so funny. He looked at me and goes, it hadn't been that damn long. And he didn't say damn. He's very, very religious. He said, it hadn't been that long. And I said, well, I wasn't sure, Congressman. You meet a lot of folks.
Oh, yeah.
And but Mark Longoria, his now district chief of staff, is now former district chief of staff, is now the big boy in Washington, D.C. Yeah. And so Mark Longoria, he is, I will tell you, it's a special day when you get the D.C. chief of staff emailing you and talking to you.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, Mark's born and raised here in Bay City, went to school at Lenny Roberts. And so he knows us really. We're blessed. We're blessed. Now, just a little bit of explanation for those folks. So here's what's going to be confusing for folks in Matagorda County. Jeff, right now, and you know this, our congressman right now until January 2027 is Troy Nails. Even though he's announced he's not going to seek re-election, he's going to finish his term out. So this congressional term goes all the way to January, I think it's the 20th. 2027. And so we still have Troy Nails for, call it 14 months, just shy of 14 months. So he's still going to be our congressman. But what's going to be confusing for folks is when you get that March Republican primary ballot,
right?
It's not going to have Troy Nails on it. It's going to have Michael Clout.
Right.
And so he'll be running in the Republican primary. And so it's very gracious to come. It gave us all day, Jeff. He got there right about 11:30, and I did the lunch. Went through, met everybody, went through the luncheon, and then we had him meet privately with all the chamber pay setter tables, and I had 10 of those. and they all got 3 to 4 or 5 minutes with him independently. And then he went over to the youth leadership, the young leadership class,
right?
28 seniors, and visited with them. He did have a hard out at 2:00, and I think I finally got him on the road about 2:10.
Right.
So, but really and never did act like he was in a hurry. Now his staff was stomping around there pretty good.
Yeah.
To get out, but
no, he was very relaxed.
He was, and he's always every time he's been that way.
He speaks well. He doesn't sound like when he talks, he doesn't sound like a politician. He sounds like a guy standing there having a conversation with you. That's the way he talks.
Well, that's the way he ran, and that's what he promised us. Even before, of course, he was a businessman there in Victoria, and ran when Fahrenholt decided not to seek re-election.
Right.
It was a contested race without an incumbent, and I was just so really appreciative of him. I will tell you, it was the last time I remember seeing him. I had him out at the Bay City Lions Club, and he was the speaker.
Right.
And Jeff, it was the day after 13 of our service members got killed in Afghanistan with the bomb as they were evacuating people, and he was shook up. I mean, it affected him. It affected all of us, to be really honest with you. But I remember him sitting there, I'm almost in tears, and a very Christian man with a beautiful family, wife and 3 kids. And you heard him say, he flies out on Monday night, Tuesday morning, spends all week in DC, flies home for the weekend, has a little bit of time with his family, goes to church, and then he's right back to DC. And that's week after week after week. That's right. It's a tough gig. You got to be committed to service.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot.
Tough when you have a family and then you have that kind of
young family.
Yeah, young family. When you have a young family like that.
Yeah. I mean, mine. I love all 3 of my kids, but as long as I come around every month or 2 or 3, they're fine.
Yep.
But they're not. Those kids. You got to be there to raise those kids, or you got to have a really supportive and strong wife.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's true too. Yeah, because I don't know how many times Mitch Staines' wife come to me and says, "Just take him." I know she said,
I'll tell you,
just get him out of here.
It was funny. I mean, it was kind of a running joke, but she'd have a picture of me and said, "Now, if this man here shows up, go ahead and let him in the house."
I can picture her saying that too.
And the other funny running story was, my daughters would be wanting to know, when you coming home, Dad, when you coming home? And then I'd be home about 2 or 3 days, and they'd say, "Well, when you going back?"
Yeah.
When you going back to Austin? And it's a crazy life. It really is. But we are blessed to have him. He met with each of us independently. Mark and I had a lot of time together, and they just want to help. They really want to help.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize he was. I knew he was on appropriations, but every dollar that the government spends goes through his committee.
That's right. Yeah, the way he said it. Yeah,
and that's significant for us.
Yeah. Sure is.
Because, and I know the Port of Bay City met with him, and, they're worried about the Corps getting enough funding to dredge the bay and estuary areas.
Yeah.
Primarily not for navigation. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's where all those shrimp boats come in and out.
Well, the bigger thing was the ship channel. They were talking about making it deeper so bigger ships can come through, and I was reading all on that this past week.
Yeah, that was in that meeting I didn't attend. I probably should have. I know Mike Ferdinand attended, where they're trying to get the core. And that's the Matagorda ship channel. That's more in Calhoun County than it is Matagorda County.
Yeah,
but it's very, very it's very important to our economy.
Yeah, it is.
And I guess nobody's against the dredging, except I'm reading that they're because of Formosa and Alcoa and some of the industries that are there. This is years ago, 100 years ago, back when mercury people mishandled.
Yeah, and it got soaked into the ground, and they're gonna stir it up. And I read that.
Yeah, and then when you dredge, it's gonna stir the mercury up.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's a solution to that. I want to make sure we protect the economy and protect the estuaries, bays and estuaries.
Yes.
But there are some areas in the Colorado area that is not but a foot deep. And think about that being like a dam. And so when the flood waters come down and you hit that shallow bottom, that's almost like a dam. And then the water backs up.
Yes.
And floods Matagorda County. It might flood Wharton County and even Colorado County. So, here's the thing, Jeff, and I listen to George Harrison a lot. He's very, very knowledgeable about this. The Corps did all that and promised maintenance when needed, and it's been 35 years since they've dredged the diversion channel.
Okay.
In Bray's Cut and what is the other one? Brown Cedar Cut. I'm going by memory, and they've not held up their end of the bargain. To be really honest, I mean, when you sign a contract and you say, okay, every 10 years I'll do maintenance, and then 35 years later you haven't done any maintenance.
Did they do Mitchell's Cut too? They
did. They're doing Mitchell's Cut. That's correct. Now that's ongoing,
right?
And that's one of the things the Corps is saying is that there's not enough dredge boats, not enough dredge equipment to do everything they need to do.
Right. Yeah, they got to use.
Give me a break. 35 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's a long time.
People don't wait that long to repaint their house outside.
Exactly. So in maintenance, you got to have maintenance.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah.
So anyway, I learned a lot today, sitting there listening, and our industries had an opportunity to visit with him. Our county officials had an opportunity to visit with him, and so it was very, very, very successful. Time wise, I've only got him for just a finite amount of time, but we got it all in. Since you and I talked last. The Supreme Court has ruled that the redistricting map that moved us from 22 to 27 can go on because the legislature passed it, they implemented it, and then you remember we talked about the 3 judges in El Paso,
right?
That voted to suspend it,
right?
And so everybody was up in doubt, and tonight was the filing deadline. So you didn't know where to file for the congressional seat you were looking for.
Right.
But later in the week, early in the weekend, the Supreme Court did rule that we are now living with the redrawn maps.
Right.
And so we're very certain now that Cloud will be on the ballot. Now, he said himself he's got to get elected.
Right.
But I don't know. I haven't heard of anybody filing at least I'm sure there will be a Democrat
filing, yeah.
For that seat, but I haven't heard another Republican file.
Yeah. A lot going on. Busy weekend. Hey, by the way, I want to thank everybody that came out for the Toys for Tots campaign.
Yeah.
We did the 24-hour Toys for Tots campaign from 5 p.m. Saturday to 5 p.m. Sunday. I did it. and I stayed up the whole time. And people can't believe I didn't sleep during that time. No, I'm on camera at La Casona because they went through the 24-hour camera to see if I actually fell asleep or not. No, I did not. It was a big argument.
How was it at the restaurant rather than your shop?
It was good.
Okay.
I had a lot of traffic there, so people are aware once they're coming in. They say, "Are you doing something?" And I wish I would have had the Toys for Tots sign up the Radiothon campaign. And next year I will do that for sure. I'll have the sign up when people walk by. They're going to go, "Oh, you're doing a Radiothon Toys for Tots," and interview people. And the other thing I want to thank is James Scardamai. What a great interview we had that went on Facebook. We got more compliments on that interview that he did. He sort of buttered me up a little bit, and I tried to butter him up. I tried. I couldn't think of anything nice to say about James. No, I'm only kidding, James. He does a lot of things in this community too. A ton of stuff with the school board, and
he does.
There's a ton of stuff that he does, and he's running around all over the place.
He's been doing that Toys for Tots for 8 years
since 17.
He spoke to the Lions Club Friday.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get him a big check for his efforts. And I think they were collecting toys there as well.
Well, and HIF gave him a large check too. In fact, James told me today that he was given a large check. So, here's the issue. The Toys for Tots, when we first started doing it,
it's the Marine Corps Toys for Tots, right?
Yes. It's the Marine Corps Toys for Tots. When we started doing it 4 years ago for him, and prior to that on the radio, we did it individually with the fire department collection, and we gave away stuff. And CASA, the 1 year we did 300 and some kids for CASA. Didn't think we would ever get 300 kids done, but we got 300 kids done, 347 children in CASA, Wharton County CASA. We raised enough toys to give them 6 times over. So that was great. We've gone from 400 to 500 kids back in the day when James started up to over 1,000 kids that are in need today. And when you hear the stories of this, it's man, it's heart pulling, You're talking about the future of our, the future of us. It's just they're kids, and they're just being either neglected, or the families aren't making enough to get the things they need. And when you ask people, you say, I know I ask this all the time. Every year I ask the same question, but last year we did 5 boxes. This year we did 6. So we got up to 6. I had people stop overnight, 3:00 in the morning, hand me a check. 5:30 in the morning, hand me a check. So we went out that day then, and we got cash. One was a check, one was cash. The one with the cash, we went out and got the toys right away. Today we got the rest of the toys.
Okay.
And it was just it filled up 6 boxes. So we're proud and glad, and it's an honor to be able to do that for these kids in the county. It just really, really is. And all the toys that we collect stay in Matagorda County.
Yeah. I think the distribution is still going to be at the old Kmart.
Walmart. Yeah, it's the old Kmart. Yeah,
the old Kmart. Old Kmart.
Yeah. And where the police station's going to go.
The police station, that's right. So he's going to what I liked with this Talk Friday is that he makes sure that every child gets a book.
Yes.
That's not part of the toys. That's I don't think the Marine Corps Toys for Tots considers a book a toy.
Right.
But he said it's important to him, and I think it's very important that we get books in kids' hands.
It does. It really, really does. I even know with my own granddaughter, giving her a book, the first thing you give a book, and she wants you. She's at the point now where she grabs your finger, points to the page, and she wants I want you to read that.
Oh, cool.
Then we start reading it, and she turns the pages when we're done.
All right.
So it's very important to get kids involved in it. The other thing, on Sunday, I made the announcement that I am running for Matagorda County Judge. And a lot of people, I know most of you only know me as the jerk on the radio, or the guy that does small engine repair, or the guy that cooks really good and had a restaurant. My life has been much, much more than that. And, I don't discuss it a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of people that know me personally, I think as well. Maybe Mitch does, and a few others, but never really talked about it. And Mitch and I are always talking about, in order to have change, you got to get into the arena. And I'm going to read something that a friend sent me, a friend that both Mitch and I know. I'm not going to say his name, but sent me a great passage. And when I read it today, and it's somebody very important to the county, but when I read it today, it's like, God, Lee, that's something else. It's really, really good. Makes a whole lot of sense. And it mentions about getting in the arena. So I'm going to tell you real quickly a little bit about myself and my background. And then we are going to have different meeting places that people want to meet me or talk to me or whatever. You can always text me. You can always call me. Lord knows I got a million texts that I answered everybody back and talked in, and Facebook messages, and everybody's talked. I gave the answer to everybody. There's people unaware of how the county judge works. No, I'm not a lawyer. No, I'm not I didn't go to a judge school and all that other stuff. The Matagorda County Judge is primarily and pretty much the manager of the county. He's the gentleman that takes care of the hiring and of the different things, different county things, that people that work for the county. So and budgeting, meeting with future businesses, talking to kids and stuff like that. So to have a law degree and doing what I'm doing, no, I'll have to go to probate courses and things like that the county judge from here will do after elected. Now, a lot of people want to know my background, my background a little bit, and I'm going to tell you all in a nutshell. I think I've done 1,200 different things in my life, but I was always curious to know. And the reason I did so many things, I was very curious to know how that thing works or how it operates or how does, different jobs. I'm a certified chef, and a lot of people know that. And I was a former professional wrestler. And if you ever think, professional wrestlers don't get into politics, well, go talk to Jesse Ventura, who was the governor of Minnesota, and go talk to Nikolai Volkov, who was the one of the state representatives in Maryland. Back in the day, we had guys that were, most of us guys were pretty smart. We just weren't smart enough to stay out of the ring and do what we had to do. But I'm a former professional wrestler. I've been a peace officer in Allentown and Sorrento, Louisiana. I know a little bit about law enforcement. I'm very big on safety for the police officers and for the people. I try to help them as much as I can, give them information. I'm very big on fire departments, emergency management. I'm very big on communicating with people, making sure that they're aware of things that are going on. I did it here in Matagorda County when Burrell came through. I did it when Hurricane Harvey came through. I asked the judge to stay here at that time. I asked Nate to stay here and be able to broadcast to everybody and let them know what's going on. We have our little radio station now that I don't, the only advertising that's ever done on it that I do is for football games, when we do the football games for Tidehaven. One of the things, I don't have to do that. We don't have to do that stuff, but I care enough for people that I will go out and our kids that I think old school. I think the old way of things being done, and that's communicating with people, not just necessarily through social media, but face to face. I'd like to go out and meet people. I want to hear their concerns. I want to hear their thoughts. I got a political science degree at Kutztown University back in the 90s, and I was looking back. I think it's like 1996. A lot of it's changed since then, but I have a political science degree in Kutztown University. I went to Penn State for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, on communications and television. Been on the radio for 48 years. Been a chef at different restaurants. The Hard Rock Cafe in New York City had 3 restaurants. Ran one, had 2 of my own here in Matagorda County. Had one over in Louisiana, 2 in Louisiana actually, and then one in Pennsylvania. And it was always, I did stand-up comedy. Had the comedy clubs open. It's always, to me, it's always about people, making sure everybody's okay, and making sure that you're told the right thing, and that when I'm asked to do the right thing, to do the right thing. I hate to fail, but I do, just like anybody else does. I'm not perfect. My family, my wife Lydia, and my son Brian, and my daughter Brighton, they followed me everywhere we went. When I moved from radio station to radio station, that's just the way it is. At television, we moved from Louisiana to Texas, and then they stayed in Texas. I moved back to Louisiana to help somebody, came back to Texas. Been in Texas for 20 years now, a total of 20 years since Hurricane Katrina. Yep, I'm one of those brats that lived in Louisiana and moved to Texas. Not throwing out, we just decided we needed to go. Moved up to Madisonville, and been here ever since. I grew up in Pennsylvania, Allentown, Pennsylvania. I've worked with Senator Pat Toomey. I've worked with a state representative up there. A high school teacher was a state representative up there. I helped him run. I helped Pat Toomey with his run for senator, and he won. I've worked with the mayor of Allentown. I started a youth center up there when I was 14 years old, and asked the mayor not to tear down a firehouse that was built in late 1800s, and had to fight for it. It was in the paper and everything. And I want to tell people, go back and look. If you want to look up those things up, go to the Morning Call. Those articles are still in there. I was the youngest volunteer at a rehabilitation hospital at the age of 13, and where you were supposed to be 16 to be a volunteer. And I was adamant about doing it. I'll never forget, Miss Andrews was the lady that I used to argue with and say, I can really do this. I can do this. And we used to bring kids at the rehabilitation hospital up to the third floor of my house at that time, where there was all steps, and my dad was kind enough, before he got sick, he used to carry the kids up the steps, and I had trains set up, and I'd let them watch the trains and have a good time and stuff like that. I worked with Kay Bailey Hutchinson on a program that I thought was very important to me, and that was after Rita came up Interstate 45. A lot of folks had passed away, and I didn't think it was fair for the radio stations not to broadcast where people could go, what was available. State police at that time had very poor communications to the folks that were in the cars and that were stuck. And our radio station actually worked up in Madisonville, but the Houston stations and stuff got blown off the air. And I talked to her and at a TAB, a Texas Area Broadcasters meeting, and of course Rick Perry, I talked to him, but Kay Bailey Hutchinson grabbed me and wanted to know my idea. My idea was to go over to Louisiana and grab the generators to go to these radio stations that were 50,000 watts or more to be able to broadcast and be required to be on the air during an emergency, any kind of emergency. So she passed that in the Congress here in the state of Texas, and in the Senate. And she was very grateful. I was more grateful for her because it was actually somebody who wanted to do something, and I got heard. And, I've talked to as a radio personality with when Bell was running for governor, and Kinky Friedman and all those guys that were running back then. I asked them so many deep questions, not necessarily about how they were planning and what they were planning on doing, but to pick their mind. And if I ever become something, I want to know how they did it, what their thought was, or whatever. And you have the great thing about the United States is you have the right and the ability to be anything and do anything you want. And I've done a lot of things, and worked for a lot of different people. And I'm honored that I'm able to live in a county like Matagorda County that is great, regardless of what anybody thinks or says. But I also think that I should be the county judge should be available to talk to the people and go out to the people and go to the different towns, and not just once a year, but when they're called for, if they're available, whenever they're called for, to go there and meet. And I want to be able to be in the office and take on the calls and take on, I do this not because it's easy. I'm doing it because it's hard. And I want to represent a great county. I want to be able to represent a great county and a lot of great people that work in this county. Our commissioners work very hard. Mike Ferdinand works very hard. Jessica works very hard. All these people are working very, very hard. And there's a lot of people that work for this county that need to be recognized a little bit better than what they are. I think there should be youth programs, more youth programs. I think our youth, and we have some, and don't get me wrong, we have some. But the kids that come out and don't know where to go and where to turn to, I think we can mentor our children, especially in the government level of the county, better than what we're doing. I've talked to our sheriff. I've talked to our commissioners. I've talked to the people that work here in the county. I'm going to meet with Mike Eslenbaum on Wednesday morning. I'm going to be talking to Bubba Frick this week. He's working on a road project right now, but I'm going to be able to talk to him about certain things. Troy Shimmick, I'm going to get with him. He's out right now, and Bubba Cook, we're going to talk to him. I want to hear from the schools needs and wants, what they would like from the county and what they'd like to see. And it's not going to get done overnight. And I know a lot of people are going to say, why ain't this done? Why isn't this done? Mitch and I talk about this all the time. To me, my grandfather always used to tell me all good things take time, but the good things need to be put on the right path and go to the right people to be done as well. And I believe in the people of Matagorda County. I always have. There's going to be people who like me. There's going to be people who dislike me. I'm a big boy. I can rub it off my shoulders. I'm all right with that. But I want people to know I'm there for them. And that's everybody in Matagorda County, not just Republican or Democrat. Doesn't matter to me who you are, what party you're associated with. I'm here to work for you and to do whatever it is that I need to do to make a great Matagorda County. I'm not going to be the guy to beat down the other guy. I don't know him personally. I know what he does, and I'm not that guy. So if you're expecting me to get in the ring and have a boxing match with somebody I don't know, or, I'm not. I'm running for me. I'm running for who I am and what I'm about. So, I told everybody what my telephone number is, and I'll say it again. It's 979-476-4469. You want to text me and ask me questions, and people already have and gotten the correct answer. I'm not one of those guys where it's a yes and no. If it's yes, there's a reason. If there's no, there's a reason. And I'm going to tell you and let you know. And I want to thank all the people who helped me, that I drove nuts in this, that have given me the right information. And, this was a very quick thought. It wasn't something I've been thinking for the past 2 years. This is something I thought about doing just a couple weeks ago. And it's time. I'm 61 years old. It's time. I want to see a better future for our kids, man. I really do. Because those are the people who are going to continue to make not only this county, not only this state, but this country great. It takes great leadership, and you have to have great leaders in order to show other future leaders how to lead. And that's very important. It's very important. We have a lot of things in this county. We have beachfront. We have hunters, we got woods, we got farmers, we got grass farms, we got industry, we have all kinds of things. And if everybody worked together, we could be very, 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 very good and very much better off than what we are. I'd like to see eventually that the average income for the families around here is higher. And there's certain people we'd have to talk to work on that. I'm feel just like you are. I'm a worker. I have a small engine shop that I have, and I actually did that small engine shop as more of as a hobby until I get on to my next venture, but it turned out to be a full-time business. Mitch knows, he's a customer. It turned out to be a great business, an awesome business. But then when you talk to the kids about, hey, you want to learn how to do this, they're like, well, there's no school for it. Well, I'll teach anybody anything they want to know. As long as I know it, I'll teach them. I'm not afraid to let you know what I do or what I don't do. And I'm always going to tell you the truth. I ain't going to sugarcoat anything. I ain't going to butter anything. I'm going to let you know whether we can do something or not. And I want to go out. I'm going to go out to Sargent. I'm going to go to Matagorda. I'm going to Placius. I'm going to go to every place that, and let everybody know what's going on. I don't mind coming on this show once a week for a very short period of time, because there's so much that goes on throughout the state. Because, to let you know, hey, we're doing this week, and we're changing this week, and let everybody know. And now here's the rest of the news for the week. But be very transparent on what we do. I don't have a problem with that. And I think everybody should be that way. I'm for everybody. Whether you vote for me or not, I'm for everybody. Not everybody's going to vote for me. Not everybody's going to vote for the other guy. But I will do my 100% and 110% best to do everything there is possible to make the county better, to let our youth, educate our youth on their future, and give them an easier step into the future. I believe the people that go to jail and do wrong, they're never taught how to do right out there. A lot of them leave and end up right back in the jail. Find out what the issues are. I think our mental health issues are huge. We have a company. Somebody say company here, Texana, and I want to talk with those people. I want to find out what their issue is, if they have issues, and what it is. I know our police departments are in need of help in that area, because mental health to me is a huge, huge problem. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The more the population, folks, the more the problems that exist are going to get worse. And if we don't work on those problems, and if we don't look into those problems, then we're going to have issues. Yeah, the county is on certain things is going in the right direction. YMCA is coming in. I think that's a huge deal. I talked about it before they even came here, and I believe Mitch and we both did. We talked about the YMCA. I know what Palestine did and brought YMCA in. It's a great thing. There's a lot of things that I always said we talk about, and then all of a sudden, boom, they happen. Mike with Eslenbaum down on the, working with Sargent and getting those things up. I think it's great. But some of the things that we're spending a little bit more money than the county has, and we're borrowing money and doing things like that. I think there's a way that the county can make even more money, that we can do more things. And I will discuss that when we have our meetings together and things like that. I really, really enjoy living here in Matagorda County, and I have my own land, and I stay a lot of times at my son's place, which I'm at right now because of remodeling and building our home down there. I just think, I just feel that it was time to put my hat in the ring. It was time to get off the fence. Instead of just doing a show like this, I think it was just a better time to jump in and try to do something, try to be better, try to make things better for the people in Matagorda County. Listen, I live here too. I know the problems. I know the issues. It's not like I don't live here, or I haven't lived here. I've lived in here for 10 years in Matagorda County since 2015. And I've seen the changes. I've heard the changes. I've been behind all of it and seen people suffer, and I've seen people hurt. I've seen people do good. Small business is still the backbone of this county. Regardless of all the big business coming in here, small business is the backbone of this county. And, I'd like to be able to help with the small businesses too. And if you're starting a small business, I would love to give you advice, because I've done them, and I know how it works. I know how they work. I know what you got to get. I know what you got to go through, so housing is being worked on here in Matagorda County. There's a lot of things. There's so much to being a county judge, and it's not just getting up there. But no, it's not having a law degree or things like that. You're going to be doing probate court, and you have to go to classes and stuff like that. So on behalf of my family and myself, again, thank you for everything. I'm going to be asking not only for your vote eventually, Well, I'm asking for your vote now, but asking for your vote. We're going to set up a place this week to make donations for the campaign. We're gonna have signs up, but I'm going to be out to you to talk to you, and I have no problem. You're more than welcome to stop by the shop when I'm there. I've been approached so many times by people at the shop just for this show, so I don't have a problem talking with you. I'll be more than happy to talk with you. If there's something I don't know, I will look into it. I'm not going to tell you, no, I don't have time, or that's ridiculous, or whatever. I'm not going to say that. We're going to look into it, because technically, or essentially, we're here for you. That's what we're supposed to do. Mitch and I do this show, and nobody gives us any money to do this show. We do this out of the kindness of because we love this county. I know Mitch does, and I do too. We do it because we want to keep you informed of what's going on. And I think that should be done every day. You should know every day what is going on, where your money's going, how it's being spent, what the state's doing, everything. I think it should be. We spend a lot of money out of our pocket for everybody working so hard. And I know how hard it is just to make $1, leave $1 left out of a couple dollars that you make. It's just, you go to the store every day. I mean, you go to the store every day. It's like, oh God, my God. I just bought 4 things that cost me $375. I get it. I get it, and I'm not afraid to go up to the higher ups, the congressmen, the state senators, and say, listen, we have an issue here, and let's work on fixing it, and then let everybody know I've talked to this guy and we're going to try to fix it. So the transparency and being personable with everybody and talking with everybody, and I'm still me. I'm not changing who I am. I'm not going to change my attitude. For the people that know me, I don't want anybody ever come out and say, well, you've changed since you became judge. Or what? No, I don't want that to ever happen. I'm me. And people didn't know anything more about me than a DJ and a repair mechanic or a guy that owned a restaurant. The political experience and the political people that I have met with and dealt with and worked with, it's common sense, man. And it's common sense. It's just typical common sense. And when you have a good common sense and you have a good knowledge of what's going on, and you feel confident enough to be able to do what I'm trying to do, I'm not scared. Crystal Fall sent me a text. She said, "So you scared? So you scared?" I said, "No, Crystal, I'm not scared. I'm good. I'm good with it. I'm not afraid of failing. I'm going to give it the best shot that I can. And if you vote for me, I appreciate it. And if you support me, I appreciate it. And I'm going to do my very best to do the best job I can for Matagorda County." So there you go, Mitch.
All right. Well, there you go. Are you paying for that commercial?
That is a publicly paid ad by my wife.
Right. Well, getting in the arena is certainly the answer. I will tell you, we've talked about it. There's a lot of people that love to sit on the sidelines and just be mean and ugly and throw rocks, and that's their prerogative. This is America, but getting in the arena is certainly something that it's tough. I know, Carolyn ran for city council 4 terms and then ran for mayor, and I ran for state rep. And you're right, Jeff. I mean, not everybody's going to like what you have to say.
Yeah.
Some won't even listen to what you have to say.
No,
they'll judge you by not looking at anything past the cover. But no, that's what America's all about.
It is. And everybody has the same opportunity to do what I'm doing. Everybody, I never was arrested. I never did drugs. I don't have a arrest record. I didn't feel that I had to do bad things to move forward. I didn't think I had to cheat the system to move forward. I'm me. I've always worked, always. And Lydia always messes with me the time I hurt my back and I was out of work for like 3-4 months that she had to work. She said, "Oh my God, he took off 3 months and then he didn't do it." And I was like, "Come on, man, it was 3 months." She busted me about that when I hurt myself. I want to read this about the 2 things. Okay. And this is a great two great sayings by two people, but this was sent to me by somebody else that Mitch and I know, and I won't say the name of that. All right, and there at the man, the myth, the mystery, hat in the ring. Got something for you like that. Don't be weird. All right, this is from Theodore Roosevelt, 1912. Okay, my hat is in the ring. The fight is on. I'm stripped to the buff. It used to be the custom in this country that when you had made a career and were mature in judgment, you went to the Senate to give something back to the Republic. The idea that at age 25 you go out and you buy a blow dryer and start running for the office is not what the founders had in mind. I'm sorry, that was by Gore Vidal. Okay, now this is the one that I was going to say too. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out the strong man stumbles, or where the doers of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who comes short again and again. Because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in worthy cause, who at the best knows at the end the triumph of high achievement, and who is at the worst if he fails, and at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls. Oh, this thing went go down. Okay, with the cold and timid souls, who neither know victory nor defeat, and that's Teddy Roosevelt there.
Yep.
It's a great speech. That's a great thing.
Definitely. We talked about it so many times.
We do.
You know, get involved and don't just sit around on Facebook, a keyboard warrior, and bitch and complain and moan.
No, right, exactly.
Be a part of the solution, or
register to vote. Register to vote. And if you're a registered voter, go and vote. You know, if the weather's bad on that day, I get it, you know, but they have early voting. You know,
there's 14 days of voting. Give me a break.
Yeah.
I looked it up. Almost 60 hours.
Yeah.
That they pay those ladies and gentlemen to sit at the service center.
I think
at Palacios. And don't tell me the weather's bad.
Yeah, no, I heard that before. And here's the thing that I want to say. I know a lot of people say, well, if I go out and vote, you know, I go and vote for somebody I like. They never do what they say they're going to do. They change it to a different person. They don't do what they're going to say, you know, what they said they did, and this and that. I get that. I understand that. I felt that way back at the Bill Clinton era, back in the day when I voted back then as well. And I stopped for a while. I stopped voting for a long time, thinking, hey, you know, it's not working. And, you know, I go and do this, or my guy's not winning, or whatever. Listen, get out and vote. Your voice is heard at that time. Your voice.
They're going to hate you when you do what you said you were going to do.
Sure they are. And people vote. But get out and vote, you know.
You like or dislike Trump, he's doing exactly what he
said he was going to do. Right, exactly.
You can like it, you can hate it, you can cuss it, but the man's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and that's making people upset.
Right.
More upset than the other.
So I say it like this, you know, the Trump thing was like this. I'm going to run to make sure everybody has Band-Aid, or I'm going to run to make sure everybody has Band-Aids. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure everybody has Band-Aids in their house. So I go to the Band-Aid manufacturer and I say, I want them to have Band-Aids in every single one of the house. So the Band-Aid manufacturer goes, well, we can't do that. We can't afford to do that. It's just no way we did that. Trump comes back and says, well, I talked to the people who made the Band-Aids. There's no way they can do it, but at least I tried. That's what he did. That's exactly how it works. You know, Trump has Trump has some great ideas in there, and there's some that I don't agree with. There's some that I don't agree with. I look at the Democratic Party, and right now they're swimming in mud. It's just they're spitting, fighting, chewing, scratching on the walls to get to where they need to go, and that's not the Democratic Party that I remember years ago, where the Democratic Party worked with the Republican Party, and the Republican Party could work with the Democratic Party. But it's so far apart right now. It gets a little ridiculous. But I'm never gonna on my campaign. I'm not gonna promise that I'll be able to do everything. I want to look into everything first. I guarantee you that I will look into something if you're concerned about it, and then give you an answer for it. And I guarantee you I'm going to look into making some changes on things that I think would be better for you. But to promise that the sun's going to be yellow tomorrow or green tomorrow, and then it's just nobody can promise that. It's hard to do. My promise to you is I will be who I am, and will continue to fight for the people of Matagorda County. That's my promise. That I can promise. Anyway, go ahead, Mitch.
Oh no, I'm listening.
No, you take a nap, Mitch. No, go ahead, take a nap. Now's the time to take a nap, everybody.
No, absolutely. Couple of fun things. Hey, Matagorda County burn ban has been lifted.
That's right.
So go burn everything you want to burn. Be careful, please.
Don't say that.
I know.
You saying? Oh but my God!
Be careful. Be careful.
Go burn everything. Just burn it down.
But be careful while you burn it. Of course, you're not supposed to burn in the city limits anyway. But
make sure the fire department's with you if you decide to burn everything.
Yeah, call them first. I'll tell you a fun thing real quick before we get off is Matagorda County Birding and Nature Center has launched their bald eagle cam. Go to their website or go to their Facebook page and their website. Carolyn was watching it the other day. It's pretty cool. So we've got our very own bald eagle cam with the Matagorda County Birding and Nature Center. Some other fun stuff we can talk about later. But I know this is our last show till the first of the year.
It is the last show until after the first of the year.
And it's been a ball, and hopefully people are appreciating. Hopefully they're learning something.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to really pick up what's going on locally. That's the whole idea behind what we're doing, is just trying to fill you in, let you know the truth with no smoke and mirrors. Whether you agree or disagree, that's fine, but you need to be informed. Sure. You're right. The voting turnout is about as pitiful as I've ever seen. Yeah. I think 4% of the Matagorda County turned out and voted during the last November election when we had 17 ballot initiatives on there. They all passed, but right. It's an interesting time and interesting what's going on. Real quick, we talked a little bit about the primaries. There was an effort by the Republican Party to close the primaries. I've had a lot of people ask me, what does that mean, close the primaries? And that would mean that you would declare that I am a Republican or I am a Democrat. And if you registered as a Republican, which there is no way to do that today, we have open primaries. If we have a closed primary, you would have to indicate whether you are going to vote in the Democratic primary or the Republican primary. And you can't change your mind. So if you register as a Republican, you got to go and vote in that primary.
Correct.
If you register as a Democrat, you have to go and vote in that primary. And those primaries are in March. Now, when you get to November, it's wide open. You just vote. You know. So there has been a movement to close. The argument there is the Republicans don't want Democrats crossing over, voting in the Republican primary. And I'm assuming vice versa as well. I don't know how many these days are crossing over and voting in the Democratic primary. I know Rush Limbaugh actually promoted that one time. I think he called it Operation Chaos, where he told the Republicans to go vote for a particular candidate in the Democratic primary. Yeah. They wanted the Republicans to go vote in the Democratic primary for the weakest Democrat they could find.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, and then there's been those that have claimed that Democrats have flooded a Republican primary to elect a less qualified, less competitive candidate. But I'm still of the opinion that I want to decide.
Right.
I want to every March, I want to decide whether I go to I'm going to look at the ballot, and I want to look at the people, and I want to say, I want to vote for that person. I will go into that primary election booth and vote, whether it's in the Republican or Democrat.
Right.
Full disclosure, I haven't voted in a Democratic primary in 30 years.
Yeah.
I remember the last time I did was in Fort Bend County 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people will tag me as a Republican because I did run in the Republican primary for state rep, and so you can label me however you want. But I don't think that's what Texas needs. We're independent enough for that.
Yeah, I got a text here, and I'm going to make them feel bad about this. This is great. This is what I love. These are my friends. When I speak and I talk, these are who my friends are. Let me tell you who my friends are. I'm not gonna say his name. Let's just say he used to live in Leon County. He's a Yankee now, but let's say he's a Yankee. Okay. So when I was talking about the kids earlier, the kids are important. He says, "I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way." That's the Whitney Houston song. The lyrics to the Whitney Houston song. Then he says, "Anybody ever tell you talk too much?" You know, and I've learned plenty listening to you two mugs. That's good. At least you learned something, because I know you were to this person that you were very educated before you started listening to us. So I'm glad.
So now I'm a mug, huh?
Yeah, we're mugs.
The mug.
We're mugs. I had somebody bring up the idea that when I ran for county judge, because if you remember back in the Happy Radio days, I used to call the goons, the goon crew. I don't know if you remember that. I had my goons listening to me. I had goon T-shirts made up and mugs, and we had all that. We were handing them out. Oh, Vic brought it up to me. He says, "Man, I got an idea." I said, "What's the idea?" He says, "Well, we're gonna put goons for Michaels." What? And I didn't understand what he meant. Goons for Michaels. Yeah, the Jeff Michaels, the goons that used to listen to Jeff Michaels in the.
Well, I have to admit, y'all did some crazy.
Oh yeah, we did crazy stuff
on the radio.
Oh yeah, we did. Oh yeah,
I even blushed sometimes.
Yeah, I blushed myself when I heard other people blushing, or when I saw them blushing. God, when you start getting public officials involved in some of the crazy stuff that we did. It really was great. I mean, that was such a great time. It really was. Not political. We were like politically incorrect. It just did whatever we had to do,
right,
and had a good time. But when we had to be serious about things, we also became serious when we need to. Yeah. And that was the great thing about media and the radio and what you do, or even on television. You can have the time of your life. If I always want to make sure that if I'm having fun, everybody else is having fun too.
Sure.
And if they're not having fun, I want to make sure I put them at ease with the information that we had. So, that's who I am, and that's what I do. That's why my address is going to be at Mitch's house. I'm going to be staying there. Caroline's going to be taking care of all the secretarial work and stuff. So she tried giving you away today. I swear, man.
I wouldn't surprise me.
She should take them with you. I ain't got no room left, Mitch. I'm sorry. Right there, you see that? You see that room that Mitch is in right there? That's the dog house.
Yeah. Well, this is her dog house.
I know. That's right. It's her dog house.
She's in it 10 hours a day. That's the reason she was thrilled to get out and go to lunch today.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. They anchor her in here pretty good.
Don't forget, last thing, don't forget on the 20th, the big chamber Christmas.
Oh, yeah. December 20th, Christmas market days.
Yeah.
We are almost sold out. I didn't get a chance to check the book today, but we are very, very, very close. In fact, we are completely full on the east side. And if y'all remember where we put the tables and chairs so people can sit and eat,
Yep.
That is in jeopardy. So, because I may end up selling all those as well.
Tell them.
And so you may have to walk around with your bowl of chili from Jeff's stand. So
yeah, actually, it's Brighton's stand now.
Is it Brighton? Okay.
Yeah, Brighton's got the stand.
Okay.
And hopefully,
but y'all come out. It's going to be a great time. We've got a ton of really great, lot of it homemade, lot of it just completely. If you haven't bought your loved one a Christmas gift or your enemy a Christmas gift, that's going to be the place to go. 9 to 4, 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 201 7th Street. Hope you'll come out.
And then Santa Claus that same day on the 20th, when you leave that deal, Santa Claus will be at La Casona from 5 until 8. And you can take pictures and meet and talk with them and sit in his knee and tell him everything you want. And he's going to be giving away candy and millions of dollars worth of prizes.
Is there an age limit for that? I mean, no, anybody.
No.
I'll get my Christmas list all together.
Mitch, Santa's called me 2 or 3 times about you.
Am I on the naughty or the nice list?
Well, let's just say we got to switch the list.
6, 7. 6, 7.
We got to switch the list you're on, buddy. Anyway,
6,
all
7.
right. On behalf of myself, Jeff Michaels, and the lovely and talented Mitch Thames, have yourselves a great Christmas and a happy New Year, and we'll see you right after the New Year, folks. Good night.